you may feel those feelings. You may go home and break down, but now we have to come up with a resolution and a solution to empower the child. And that is always what your end is, empowering your children. And with your situation, I would imagine that you would want to shelter and protect. With any parent situation, I would if I were a parent. But I've noticed that you take the bold approach and even have Norberto do presentations about his vision for himself. Can you tell us about that vision for himself?
Yeah, I was very fortunate of being selected, and I'm currently doing Partners in Policy Making, and they give you a lot of strategies. Among those, they taught us how to do a life trajectory, and I did it with my son. He did his own vision of what a good life is, and when we present, he explains to people, this is my vision of a good life, and he goes through everything he wants to do. And sometimes we have to allow our kids to do these things because we offer our typical children the dignity of risk. Why not our kids with special needs? So that is something that to me is very important. And he loves explaining what his vision is. And this isn't mom's vision, because this isn't about what I want. And culturally, I have to remind myself, because we tend to be pushy as a Spanish mom, that I have to step back. He's 17. He has his own voice.
Right.
And listen to him. And then you support and you guide in a lovingly way. But that's something he loves to do, just sit there and explain his vision of a good life.
And I love that you allow him that. And there's something you said in there that is such a gem. And guys, pay attention. Brenda is dropping all kinds of jewels for us today. The dignity of risk. Everybody, I think, needs to hear this. Can you explain that notion of the dignity of risk?
It's, I think the best way I can explain it, I usually use an example about teenagers. Okay, so you have typical teens and you have teens with disabilities. And a rite of passage is getting that cell phone. So I got my kids a cell phone when they graduated 8th grade. I thought that was an appropriate moment to do it. They're heading to high school. Let's get the phone. I've seen a lot of parents with kids with special needs that hesitate and don't do that because they have all these, what if he loses it? What if he breaks it? What if he doesn't use it appropriately? And my answer to that is, does your typical child do it that way?
Okay.
Because I know many kids who drop the phone and break it constantly, lose it, and don't even get me started about using it appropriately. So you offer your typical child the dignity of risk of allowing them to be a teenager, but you can't with your child with special needs because they have special needs. Now, to me, that doesn't make sense. It's stuff we have to do. We do it with our typical kids when we're teaching them how to drive. We have to offer them that, opportunity. And it is scary, but we still do. We still offer them that opportunity. Same applies to our kids with special needs. We have to offer them that dignity of allowing them to take risks. And that is something that I apply with both my kids. And it's proven, at least in my case, to be successful.
Clearly it's successful for you, really. And I love that. It's one of the most powerful sentiments or statements that I've ever heard expressed in regards to children, period, but especially children with disabilities. Why not offer them the same dignity of risk that any other child is offered? And so I know that with your work, a body of work, a lifetime of work that you've been doing with your own children and with other parents and other children, where would you like to see the future of children with disability go? What the care that's provided to children with disabilities? What's your vision? Is there anything you've seen that really turns you on and makes you think, you know what, this is what we should be doing in our country?
Well, I want to start moving away from this whole sense of, we have a saying in Spanish, ay bendito, this whole, he has a disability, and just embracing, there's nothing wrong with our children. They have a disability. They also have abilities. Let's focus on those abilities. Like Temple Grandin says, they're different, but they're not less. And those are things that we need to capitalize on and offer them. And like I said before, full membership to our society. I don't just need people to see my child and acknowledge him and say hi. I need them to be fully included because they have something to offer. And that's something that I really wish would change universally, for people to put their minds to it and look at things in a different light when it comes to providing our youth with jobs and opportunities, because they have something to offer. Different skill sets, different levels. Let's get creative, and it's something that needs to be worked on because, unfortunately, the adult system isn't what we would like it to be, and we have to remember all these little kids will be adults one day. So we have to start creating those changes. I know my son now has had the opportunity, like I mentioned to you earlier, to belong to his school's track team. So he's always done track under Special Olympics, and that's a sense of pride that he has when he goes to the state championships. But now to be part of that school team, and not just because they're embracing him and having the child with autism there with them. This is the fact is these kids need him. He has a skill set, and they need him. So he is a part of that team, and those are the kind of things that I want to see change. More inclusion, more opportunities. That to me is key, because that's also what has helped my kid grow into the individual that he is.
I loved when you told me about that, the fact that they need him. He's an integral and important part of the team, because often we see like, oh, okay, that's nice, we're letting the special needs person in. But he has proven himself to be just as good as any of the other kids, even better, probably, than some of the other kids.
And sometimes there are kids that have academic skills and can shine and show through academic skills. I mean, it's about focusing on interests and those skills that our kids are good at, and having those skills shine. It is very important. And it's also very important as parents to remember that our kids have a vision, and we have to respect that. It's not what mom or dad wants. It's what our child wants. And sometimes, it can be a little hard to swallow, because my kid came and said, at 21, I want tattoos. If he was typical, would I have said no? Who knows, maybe as a Spanish mom. But the reality is, I have to respect what he's saying to me. So I was like, okay, when you're 21, it's something we can discuss, and if you're ready for it, I'm not going to pay for it, obviously. You're going to pay for it. But it's in his vision. So why am I going to knock that down? We have to respect their vision, and that's another thing that I want people to start realizing, that they have a vision, and we need to respect that. They have their own goals, their own life.
I think your sons are incredibly lucky, fortunate to have you as a mother, because you're a fantastic mother, not just a fantastic mother of people with special needs, period. You're a fantastic mother, Spanish or not. You're just good. And they're so lucky, and I hope that everyone listening has learned something today, whether this is your situation or not. Brenda leans forward into her life. She is bold, and she finds solutions. And I think that's a way to live your life. We can't just cower down and cry. We have our moments when we do that, but it can't be our life, especially when you have two people looking at you for direction and inspiration. And that's what you've given not just my listeners today, but your children, which is the most important thing here, Brenda. I want to thank you so much for taking the time to come out of your very busy schedule. As we now know, you do 27, 50, 11 things. So I'm so grateful that you took the time. If any of our listeners would like to get in contact with you or ask questions or find out about a Facebook group that they could join for their own situation, how can they get in contact with you?
Okay. Well, we have our website. It's www.spanNJ.org. That is the website whose Parent Training Information Center. And in there you can find Parent to Parent. There are links to our Facebook groups. We have a couple of them. We have Parent to Parent NJ, and then we have one in Spanish, Padre a Padre, New Jersey. We share their resources regarding New Jersey, but if anybody would like, to start something similar, we're always welcome to help them out. Also, my email is B as in boy, Figueroa, Figueroa, @spannj.org.
Fantastic, guys. And I'll just repeat that email. It's B as in boy, Figueroa, spelled Figueroa @span, that's SPANNJ.org. So if you guys would like to get in contact with Brenda and tap her brain, her amazing brain for any ideas or tips on how to deal with the situation, or if you know a friend that might need to contact her, that would be one of the best ways. So Brenda, thank you so much for coming on Evolve today and sharing some energy and some incredible advice. Thank you so much. I appreciate it.
And thank you for having me. I love this opportunity.
You've been wonderful. All right, guys. That is Brenda. So bye. Have a great day.
Bye. Take care. Bye.
All right. Fantastic, guys. So if you stuck with us for that whole thing, what an inspiring woman. Forget about fantastic. What a truly inspirational person. When we are faced with hardships, it's very easy for us to be distracted, to be disappointed, to be depressed. All of the D words can happen when we are faced with something that doesn't feel like it's quote unquote fair or right, or why did this happen to me? But in those moments, I have found we are always being challenged to press forward and grow and to be bold like Brenda. B is for bold, B is for Brenda. She has really figured it out. And I know that she would probably say, I haven't figured it all out. Everything's not perfect, but here's the truth. She persists. And I respect that. I respect the hustle. And she's a hustler. She really has gone forward to create an environment and a society where there wasn't one. And that's what we do as powerful manifestors. Even in this situation, yeah, you're manifesting. She manifested resources. She manifested a job. She manifested a part-time job that led to a full-time job that led to about 11 jobs as I described and as she talked about. And now she's able to reach out from her spot in New Jersey. We all have a platform. And she's able to touch lives all over the world, not just her town, not just her state. She just spoke about being at a conference in Arizona where she was able to put a mother who thought she was by herself, totally isolated, in contact with a Facebook group of 7 other people. And now her world has just expanded. And that is what I have been meaning all these weeks. We've been talking on Evolve about knowing that you have a purpose and a dream. You have something that you're supposed to be doing. And everyone's isn't glamorous like some of our favorite celebrities, that's our purpose and dream. But nevertheless, what Brenda did is no less important. Maybe it's even more important than what some of our favorite celebrities are doing. Clearly, she made the world expand for a person by just saying, oh, hey, there's this resource. And in that way, we all have something to offer. So I ask you this week, what are you offering? What has someone offered you? And if you can think about what they've offered you, can you reach out to them and say, thank you, I appreciate you. You kind of talked to me at a time when I didn't think there was any hope, when I didn't know where I was going to go, and you gave me a lifeline. That's more than just Who Wants to Be a Millionaire. That's what Brenda gave that woman, was a lifeline. And that's what we're tasked to do if we've chosen to be here on this earth plane together, evolving together. We are tasked to figure out ways to raise other people's vibration. Sometimes I know you think it's all I can do, Monette, to have my own vibration be raised. I understand. I have those days. But I know that after you indulge in that little pity party, you got to move forward. You have to be bold like Brenda. You have to try. You have to persist. You have to find a solution. And you never know whose life you will touch by standing in your truth, whatever the cards that are dealt are to you, and making it become a royal flush. She's absolutely done that. And I've so enjoyed having her on. And I was thinking too, as I mentioned, I worked as a preschool teacher and I had some autistic children in my class. Now, I was not an autistic specialist. I just happened to be a preschool teacher who had to learn and adapt. And in that way, in a minute way, I can relate to Brenda's situation, because when you're faced with this, you're thinking, oh no, what do I do now? How does this work? Well, I had a room full of other children. How could I make this situation work for that child so they felt safe, loved, encouraged, and taught, and the other children? And we came up with various things. For nap time, the autistic specialist that the parents were working with came in, and they suggested a weighted vest be applied to him at nap time so that he felt protected and comfortable. And I know to some parents listening that don't have children with special needs, they think, what? Isn't that abuse or torture? No, that absolutely made him feel safe. But I had to be educated, and I had to be open to that education in order to provide a space for that child to thrive. I had to be able to have conversations with that parent and understand that numbers